ladies and gents, if you want to shave time off of your journey to 7 figures, 8 figures, and beyond, there are some things that you need to do upstairs. And the faster I learned to do these things, to think this way, the faster success came. If you think about it, and I've talked about this in previous videos, so you crew who've been here for the last few weeks and you've been like engaging with all of the video content, you've probably heard this, and I appreciate you. Thanks for coming back. One of the things that I talk about often is success is 100% mindset. And I know that you're going to be like, well, but there are certain things that have to take place. And I don't mean that to be, sorry for using that voice. I'm not being derogatory. But there are going to be some of you who are like, but don't events have to come a certain way? Don't you have to have specific knowledge and do specific things? Yes, 100%. But everything that we are is a perception. Everything that we are is filtered through the lens of our mind. And so success is having the right knowledge, saying the right things, acting the right way, having the right confidence. And there are some key factors that I have paid attention to and changed in my own life over the last 10 years that made almost an immediate shift. Now, the reason I'm talking about this today is because I've been having a lot of conversations with people lately who want to be more successful in their life. They want to have more money coming into their life. They want to have a bigger house. They want to have a nicer car. But when I talk to them about specific certain topics, they have a middle class mentality when it comes to these things. Oh, actually, it just made me think of one more. This is a good one. Okay. They have a middle class mentality about these topics, or a middle class way of thinking about their life and their perception and the things that they're going through. And what you have to do is shift to a millionaire mindset, a millionaire mentality, a millionaire way of thinking about things. So I'm going to kind of go back and forth in this one, and I'm going to talk about the middle class way of thinking, and I'm going to talk about the millionaire way of thinking. And I want you to kind of mentally check these boxes as you're going. And if you have questions about what do I mean about this specific thing, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'm here to help you. Again, this is my journey from 7 figures to 8 figures, but in reality, the value to you is I'm telling you everything that I'm learning all along the way. And this is one of those things. I got a very stark reminder of this as I've been having these conversations over the last few days. So number one, the first thing that you need to focus on is faith. And the opposite of faith is doubt. And I know you guys heard me talk about this the other day. Bear with me. They just keep getting better. The middle class way of thinking is to have doubt. Poor and middle class way of thinking is to have doubt. Is doubt with everything. Doubt in your abilities. Doubt in outcomes. Doubt in people. Doubt in scenarios, situations, natural disasters. Oh yeah, and well, it's tornado season. It's a hurricane season. I can't go do that. I can't do that. It's going to snow tomorrow, right? It's like letting doubt and fear hold you back, as opposed to saying, you know what? Whatever happens, happens, and it's going to work out exactly the way that I need it to work out. It's so funny. I'm looking at this little dot right up here in the lens, and I'm not looking in the lens, so I apologize. My eyes will be focused on you now. Faith is critical to success and to building a multi-million-dollar empire or billion-dollar empire. You have to have not only faith that outcomes will work in your favor, faith that if something doesn't work the way that you want it to work, it's okay. That means something better is coming. That means that things are being shifted, and now I'm open to looking for opportunities for how this is going to work out, but ultimately faith that it will work out. If all you do is doubt, then you will never go anywhere in life. You'll never go anywhere in life, because faith is the root of confidence. It's the root of success in general. So if you're not faith-filled, you need to start figuring out how to become more faith-filled. And usually the way that works is whenever you're starting to feel doubt, first of all, label it, understand where it's coming from. It's coming from fear. And what happens when you fear something is your brain goes like this, tightens up, and ideas, thoughts, things can't flow through it because all you're focused on is anxiety, fear, overwhelm. So once you have this feeling, which I'm sure almost all of you guys have had at one point or another, or you're going through right now, what you need to do is label that, acknowledge that this is happening, and think about, understand that almost 99% of the time, the worst case scenario is not going to happen. And allow your brain to open up, allow your brain to relax. What happens when your brain relaxes is ideas, thoughts, opportunity flow into it. So I try to keep my mind at a constant state of something amazing is going to happen. And I'm always aware of opportunity, and opportunity always falls in my lap. Okay? Faith. I spent a lot of time on that one, but it's very important. The next thing is execution. The middle class and poor mentality is to talk about execution but never fulfill. The millionaire mentality is to execute before you talk, before you speak about it, your ideas with anybody. You execute on them. It's in a constant state of execution. I'm always moving forward. When I have an idea, I act. And because I act so much, because I execute so much, I have so many more opportunities to fail. Yeah. But because I'm executing so much, I'm also filtering out to all of the opportunities that are going to be successful, that will lead to success. Because I've acted on so much opportunity in my life, I have filtered to the things that have made me successful. If you're always afraid to execute, and so you just stand still, how will you ever filter? How will you ever, stumble and fail your way to something magnificent? Most people don't succeed on their very first venture. They get kicked in the face. They get kicked in the teeth 100 times before they stumble their way to something that is successful, because they learn all of the ways not to do stuff. And what does that leave us with? The way to do something. That makes sense. I'm trying to, it sounds so profound when I'm like saying it in my head, and then it comes out. I'm like, maybe that was profound. This is my emphasis on this. This is very passionate for me, you guys. These are very important things. All right. The next thing is the middle class and poor mentality is not ROI driven. I mean, they are, but they're more susceptible to taking big risks and gambles as opposed to taking well thought out, researched, ROI driven actions. They're focused. Millionaires are focused on ROI. Will this get me an ROI? What's the path to ROI? And the poor and middle class are focused on what's an easy button. What can I do to just feed my money in and receive an outcome? If there was anything in the world that you could do that with, everybody in the world would take advantage of it. Get rich quick does not happen. So take that thought, remove it, put it over there, and just get to work. Focus on what you need to do, what you need to execute on in order to see an ROI. Think about it with that type of wisdom. Gambles don't work. Don't do it. The house always wins. House always wins. All right, next one. Who you surround yourself with matters. This is a hard one for people, and whenever I tell people this, I get some pushback on it. I exited all of the relationships that I had that were not serving me in a way that was advancing me in life. I mean, everybody goes through that at some point, I think. You have to get rid of the relationships that are dragging you down, that are holding you down, and start relationships that are on the way to that next level, that are with people that make you better, that you can learn from. Was it Jim Rohn or, somebody says you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with most. It's 100% true. When I stopped hanging around with people that were going nowhere in life, and I started hanging around with people who were meant for big things, and they were chasing their goals and were ambitious, and we started talking about what we're executing on and talking about opportunity, that's when things shifted. All of my friends now are focused on results. They're focused on achievement. They're focused on success in family, in life, in business. And it's not always like I don't hang out with people necessarily who are just like focused on making millions and getting Rolexes and Lambos and stuff like that. I focus on people who are strong in any area of life, who are driven in any area of life. I have friends that aren't rich, but they're extraordinarily good family people. They have very successful families in a sense of like their kids are well adjusted and they're loving people and they're charitable. I also have friends that are wealthy and I listen to them in their strong areas and I don't listen to them in their weak areas. But if you want to advance in life, surround yourself with people who have opportunity, who are doing big things. One of the greatest things that I did in our business is learn how to work with people who were further along than I was. We've had some tremendous clients. We've worked with people who have done 9 figures in revenue. Many people have done 9 figures in revenue. We've got a couple $1 billion companies that we're working with. And I'm always talking to and surrounding myself with people who are at that next level so that way I can learn how to level up. So surround yourself with people who are at the next level that you want to be at and provide value to them, right? Don't bring them down. Don't be the person that's dragging them down. Provide value to them so that way they will reach down and pull you up and they will give you ideas and help you grow, get to that next level. The next thing is, this one's a little bit controversial too. Millionaire mentality is you're willing to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes, because again, you know that it's going to happen. It's not necessarily in your timeline, but you know that it's going to happen. So you just do, you just act until it happens. That's a hard one for people to understand. The poor and middle class mentality is to do it for a set period of time. And if it doesn't happen in your time constraints, then you give up and start something else. That one cuts. How many of you guys set timelines on your goals? I'm going to do this, but I'm only going to give it 6 months. And if it doesn't happen in 6 months, it's not meant to be. God doesn't work that way. Sometimes you have to learn hard lessons that take years. But if the mentality is, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, you'll eventually get there. I tell this to our clients all the time too when it comes to YouTube, right? They'll come to me and they're like, hey, what's the expectation? Like how quickly can I get to 100,000 subscribers? I want that silver play button. And my response is always, if you have to ask that question, then you're not cut out for this. Your only thought when it comes to YouTube is, I will create content for as long as it takes to get to 100,000 subscribers. Hormozi talks about this all the time too. He said something along the lines of like time horizons. He actually mentioned my name in this video. He talks about time horizons, and this was mind-boggling to me because his whole mentality coming onto YouTube was, I'm going to do this for 10 years. I have a 10-year time horizon. I'm like, 10 years? That's a long time. And he ended up getting a silver play button, like maybe a year, I think it was less than a year from when he started really going active. Like he crushed it. Now he's at like 3 million subscribers. He crushed it because his time horizon was long enough that it gave him plenty of room for things to happen. Nobody thinks in terms of years. They think in terms of weeks, right? Because you think about it, like people who set goals, they set them at the beginning of January. And I think it's like the 10th is give up day, something like that. The 10th of January is give up day. They last 10 days on their goals. All you got to do, you guys, is outlast everybody else. If you become the person who's just stays consistent day in and day out, doing tasks day in and day out, you're eventually going to find success. My attorney friend, we were having a conversation a couple of years ago. I had a kind of a series of things that weren't really working out, and I started a new company, and he's like, man, I just admire entrepreneurs. He's like, you guys, and I told him, I was like, why? I was like, it's stressful. Like I've lost a lot of money. I've failed so many times. And he's like, yeah, but every single entrepreneur that I know who just keeps picking themselves up, they hit it big at some point. He's like, you're on your way. You're going to do it. And sure enough, like 18 months later, we were doing over $1 million a year in our business. So it's true. You just have to keep picking yourself back up. The middle class and poor mentality is to say, it didn't work out. I guess God didn't want me to have it. No, that's not the lesson that God is trying to get you to understand. The lesson is that if you want something bad enough, you're going to have to learn how to make it work. The best things in the world don't come easily. They don't come with simple actions. They take bold actions and it takes risk and knowledge. So be willing to put that effort in. All right. One of the things that this is a personal one. One of the things that I heard my father-in-law, who was my first millionaire mentor, one of the things I heard him say that I admire is, sometimes you get in conversations with people who are doing big things, and in a poor or middle class mentality, your initial instinct is jealousy. For most men, our initial instinct is jealousy, because it's like, I want that. Why can't I have that too? And so our initial reaction is sometimes when other people are doing big things is like, oh, cool. I guess if you like that, it's like you have that passive aggressive kind of like dismissive type of personality. Try this. This comes from my father-in-law, and I use it, and it works so well. When someone tells you something that they're doing, everybody tells you what they're doing. Everybody tells you the good things that are happening in their life. Next time somebody does that, do this. Say, good for you. It's awesome. I'm happy for you. Good for you. In a genuine, your most genuine way. Because what that does is it indicates that you're not threatening, and that they can come to you for more big picture ideas, advice, thoughts. And it shows that you're confident in who you are, and that you have faith in your own goals and your own aspirations, and that you're well on your way to success. I started doing that, and it was like a game changer in networking and communication. I get calls all the time from people who just like want to tell me things they've got going on in their lives. And I'm like, good for you. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. Good for you. That was smart. That's really smart of you. That's genius. I'm so stoked. Be genuinely happy for them. Because when you're genuinely happy for them, it's reciprocated. Like it comes back to you. If you're jealous and you're just focused all the time, again, that's that doubt mentality. That's like, it's me or them. No, it's everybody. Everybody can be successful. You just have to believe it. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about. This is huge, very controversial. The mentality of the poor and the middle class is to believe what is to think like the masses, is to believe what the media, what the powers that be tell us. And what happens, I went to college for 2 years and then I dropped out. Actually, I got my associate's degree. I didn't drop out. Then I left, and I'm like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm so glad. Because what ends up happening in school, and this is an old quote that John D. Rockefeller's like, I'm not creating a nation of, I don't want to create a nation of thinkers. I want to create a nation of workers. He's the founder of the modern education system. education system is there to teach us how to be a cog in the wheel. Doesn't teach us how to think. Doesn't teach us it doesn't teach us this stuff, right? Doesn't talk to us at all about faith, right? In fact, you got to pull faith out of school. Why do you think they did that? It's because they know that if we have belief in ourselves instead of in a system or an institution, then we're going to start creating problems for the powers that be, the people who are at the top. And again, this isn't a conspiracy, like it's proven. And so if you guys are still routed in that like matrixy thinking, I don't want to say that because I don't want to I'm not an Andrew Tate fanboy or anything like that, but it's real. Like if you're still rooted in that matrix type thinking, you then this probably isn't the video for you anyway. This might challenge some of your ways of thinking. The ability to get out of the matrix, like the matrix, all it is it's programming the way that we talk, the way that we think, the things that we believe in. And when you can remove yourself from that and think openly and think critically about things and question everything, then we start to set ourselves on this path of enlightenment, right? Then of discovery of how things actually work. And it gives us this insane ability to think outside of the box. One of my greatest strengths in business has been to be able to spot a problem and then instantly come up with a solution to that problem. I've invented things. Now again, I don't chase every single thing, but if somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, I got this problem. I'm like, cool, here's 5 different solutions for it. It's because I don't have institutional thinking confining my brain to one specific path or route that doesn't allow me the freedom and flexibility to create my own frameworks for how I perceive the world, how I perceive success, or how I achieve things. Achievement isn't in degrees. Again, those are some it's some level of achievement, right? You can fill your head with knowledge, but that doesn't mean you're filling your head with wisdom. And so anyway, out of the box thinking is a crucial element to success. And you will find most entrepreneurs think pretty much the same way. Question everything. We don't have institutional thinking isn't a thing. Like we don't have these like big institutions like big pharma and the education system and really anything, even the government. It's like, stay out of my life. It's a very libertarian way of thinking. We don't allow those institutions to limit the way that we think. And that's one thing we all have in common. And so you think about it and you're like, man, okay, if I'm going to be a millionaire, multimillionaire entrepreneur, then maybe I should start looking at things differently. Now, that's not to say there aren't millionaires out there that are very institutional. In fact, like you can become a very successful doctor or lawyer with a lot of education. You can be a successful engineer. You can be a businessman. You can be in marketing. You can be in corporations and be a CEO with a lot of institutional thinking. But I'm talking about like entrepreneurship, going out there and doing it yourself. So you guys, my advice is to learn to think more like a millionaire. Hopefully this video helps you. If it does, let me know in the comments. Also ask your questions. Again, I'm making videos for you guys. I've got a sales video coming out. I think I'm going to do it tomorrow. I was outlining it this morning. I'm going to pump that out tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And thanks for listening. Catch you on the next one. Later. Bye.